Hello everyone, my name is Ashfaq Ahmed and I work in the field of structural biology and bioinformatics. You are watching a complete course on single cell RNA sequence analysis. This is lecture 4 where we will discuss Leiden clustering and UMAP and we will explain it briefly. Okay, if you haven't watched the first three lectures of the series, I would suggest you to first watch those three lectures where we talked about the difference between bulk and single cell RNA, then the quality control and the normalization, then the PCA clustering. Now, today we are moving toward the step 4 that is UMAP and lead-in clustering. So let's start. Okay, I named this slide grouping cells and seeing the map. Leiden clustering and UMAP explained. Okay, you may have a question in your mind how thousands of cells, each just a list of numbers, get sorted into groups and how we flatten that into a picture we can actually look at. Because in our last lecture, we were talking about some dimensions, some numbers, and some problems. But how we actually solve this thing or this problem, and then how we see those pictures and how to interpret those pictures and what that means actually. Okay, who looks like whom? Building a similarity network from the PCA coordinates. Now, if you have a question in mind that from where the PCA coordinates will come from, in lecture 3 or the previous step from this one, that will actually we solved the PCA problem there. Now we have some PCA coordinates, some PCs first, second, and third. So we already have the PCA coordinates. Okay, let's assume that we have selected approximately 30 PCs in our previous PCA results. Okay, so we have 30 PCs, and now we don't have thousands of genes. We have actually thousands of genes, but those genes are embedded, or I would say classified in the form of PCs. So we will say now we have only 30 PCs, and what we can meaningfully ask, which other cell dots this cell look like most similar to. Okay, just like we are calculating the social network, so let's say this way. Now we are going to calculate the social network of cells. That means which cell is mostly lookalike with another cell, or which cell is mostly similar to which cell. So we will call it the social network. And we compute this analysis for every cell, and we keep the k value, or we also call it nearest neighbor, let's say 15, and we classify the whole PCS space, which is in our case, we assume, let's say 30 PCs. So all the 30 PCs are further classified into K15 with the default value K15. Remember, you can change this value in your data sets when we perform. You can increase and decrease this K value, and from there you can decide which value is the best. Eventually, this will build a giant network where cell connects to the other cells they resemble the most, a raw material for clustering. Okay. Okay, now we are going to discuss the Leiden algorithm or the Leiden algorithm. Actually, this algorithm was written or came for a community detection, and it is borrowed from the social network analysis. And Leiden was originally designed for finding tightly knit friends group in social networks. But here we run it on our Similarity network instead. So let's see how we are going with it. It looks for group of cells that are far more connected to each other, or I would say that are far more similar to each other than other cells. And the similar one will be grouped together as compared to the least similar one. Okay, and how many? How we will? What is the value of k? We will discuss it later. Now, what's the resolution parameter? This parameter actually control how fine-grained the clustering is, how good or how fine or how superficial or deep the clustering is. From the high resolution, we will always mean more smaller cluster. From the low resolution, we will always means fewer but broader clusters. There is no universal correct value. So if you ask me in future that what is the good value for your data set, so let me tell you here that there is no universally correct value. It is common to try different values or different couple of values with tweaking the k value. Let's say k15, k13, k20, k10, and whichever best match the level of biological detail you care about is the best for you. Okay. UMAP, flattening 30 dimensions into two. So we did TCA in our last lecture. Then in this lecture, we run the Leiden algorithm, and where we find out the nearest neighbors. Now we have a data still in 30 dimensions from the PCs. How can we plot this data on a plain 2D picture or in a two dimension? And to understand this, you have to take the world map analogy. Okay, we have the earth, and it's like you can see it's the globe picture. A 3D sphere, you can put a 3D sphere flat on a piece of paper without distorting something. Okay, a paper map flattens it to 2D, inevitably distorting some distances in the process, but still useful for getting your bearings. We will do exactly the similar thing, putting our 30 pieces on the UMAP 2D plain paper, I would say. So the 30 dimension of PCA coordinates can be visualized directly. Same problem as the sphere or the globe. Okay, so what UMAP does, UMAP squashes it down to 2D, trying its best to preserve which cells were close together and which were far apart from each other. Okay, here is one point I want to mention that whenever you see a UMAP picture, only the general neighborhood are and grouping on the UMAP plot are meaningful, not the exact distance between two far apart points. So don't look for the distances and don't discuss in your papers and manuscript that look, this cluster is very far away and this cluster is near. That has no, this is the wrong explanation for the UMAP 2D. The UMAP 2D actually, excuse me. So the UMAP 2D actually explain the Leiden community in a 2D map. It has nothing to do with the distances you are seeing. Okay, let me show you. This is a classical figure generated by UMAP 2D. Each dot is one cell, colored by which Leiden cluster it belongs to. The similarity, like which cluster belongs to what, is calculated by Leiden algorithm. And now the picture you are seeing, those groupings you are seeing, it's because of the UMAP. Cell that ends up close together share similar overall gene expression. For example, this cell and this cell, they share the similar overall gene expression and tends to be the same biological cell type. Maybe not, but tends to be. Okay. Distinct separated blobs of colors are a great sign. It means the clustering found real, well separated structure. You can see this cluster is separated, this is separated, 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 and all these are finely separated. That means that the data is well structured and separated into individual groups very cleanly and very fine. We can also color the same layout by the original published cell type labels. Now I don't know which cell type you will use, but in our demonstration we will address this. To sanity check or unsupervised results, again ground truth. Okay, so that was all about the Leiden algorithm and the UMAF and why I'm coding all these lectures, because at the end when we were actually performing the demonstration, so at that time I will not need to explain each and every point in a big detail. So that's why I split all those things before in this theory, and it will help you a lot when we perform the real analysis. If you haven't subscribed this channel, please subscribe and wait for more interesting video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.